Roger Dobkowitz started as a production assistant.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all wanna ring, yeah, we all wanna be free. So show me what you got, what you bring, how you fight in the ring, how you take a fucking swing. Do you got heart, are you mean? Got some scars, got some needs, are you willing to go bleed? I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown.
To like watching Price is Right from like 1973.
Side-by-side refrigerator freezer from world famous Amana.
The same refrigerator freezer is on 4 different episodes that I watched, and it was $789 all 4 times. I'm like, well, see, there it is. There's proof. It was way back in the beginning. It was the same, same stuff over and over. And it's that hideous avocado green. My brother and I think, both noticed, oh, well, I remember the price of this was $1,500 or whatever. It would be $1,500 again. And so that kind of inspired me to start kind of tracking prices or, keeping records, if you will. When I would record the shows and put it all in a Word doc and everything and put it in the database, pretty much every show I had to add 4 or 5 new things because they were always bringing new stuff on.
I went to San Francisco State University, and when you go after a master's degree, you got to write a thesis. In those days, you had to put it all on paper, and I wrote a thesis about this thick. 200 pages. I wrote a thesis on game shows because I love game shows. I would actually sit and watch game shows in the afternoon, wait for the credits to roll, saw who produced them, and they only showed the credits once a week, so if you missed it once a week, you had to wait a whole another week. And I sent a copy of my thesis out to like 20 or 30 game show producers. I saw Mark Goodson, and Mark Goodson was one of those people. He's larger than life. A big office, big desk. Near the end of the interview, he said to me, when are you flying back to Los Angeles? I said, flying back? I'm driving back. And his eyes got really big. He said, you drove to New York? I said, yes, I drove to New York. I drove, I have a VW Bug, and I drove to New York. And in the hotel, I remember to this day, there was a little slip of paper in the somebody phoned for you, Roger. Here it is. It was Mark Goodson's office. Please phone the office. I phoned the office right away, and the secretary said, Mark Goodson would like to see you tomorrow. Oh, whoa. And I went into his office, and he said, Roger, I decided to hire you because anyone that would drive to New York City for an interview has a lot of initiative.
And this is The Price is Right that I wrote back in the early 1990s. It has all the games that were on the show that year. You type in some names of some players, and you can type up to 9. Last thing is a random number so that the prizes and prices and everything get randomized. There we go. So we have the opening of the show. It's all in text with, fake lights going around. And it's calling down at least 2 of the people that I put in. It does the standard opening. Of course, when the doors open, it's not going to be Bob Barker because I wasn't that good of a programmer back then.
When I was on duty, I had a disc jockey show. We had a studio there. There was an audience participation show. The host didn't show up. He was never ashamed to take a drink. And I think that he probably over-imbibed. But in any event, G. Pearson Ward came rushing in there. Bob, you have to, everything was live. There was no taping there. She rushed in there. He said, you have to get out there and do that show. And so out I went. I didn't have time to get nervous. I grabbed the pen mic, went out, started talking to the audience, and I got about 3 or 4 laughs. And I thought, I like this. I'm going to try to make them do that some more. And fortunately, my wife, Dorothy Jo, heard that show. And when I got home, she said, Barker, that's what you should do. She said, you did that better than you've ever done anything else.
I mean, Bob Barker has said every game on the show had an element of luck. A good chunk of those games, if you had a really good knowledge of prices, you were going to win. $500, not bad, not real money, so I'm going to go ahead and look in the next hole. Next hole is worth, oh, there it is, $10,000. It's just that easy. And I think I will keep that.
So after 12 years, Goetz liked me, and when there was an opening, he promoted me to being a producer because he realized not only did I know the show, I loved The Price is Right. I just loved The Price is Right. And at the start of that, I really became much closer to Bob Barker.
Well, any pride that I feel, I have to share with several people. One of them right over here, Roger Dobkowitz. He was a splendid producer, and he protected me in every situation where a little protection was needed. And he's a dear friend, too.
I had a very close friend who lived right across the street. Her name was Dee. She and my brother and I would play The Price is Right, where one of us would plan the whole show. The other one wouldn't have to be all the contestants, however it worked. We had planned a trip, kind of because it was the first time we both could go and do our own thing as adults. And I told her, absolutely, for certain, one thing we are doing is going to The Price is Right.
In real life, every game has a time limit. If you play checkers, there's no official time limit. Hurry up, make your move. I don't have all day. And this is what Bob used to do.
Well, I was kind of surprised the show was still on the air because they had taken so many game shows off to expand the soap operas to an hour.
Hurry up, Young and the Restless is coming. Make your decision. What do you want? It would become very exciting.
I was really worried that Price is Right would never make it until my 18th birthday, and here I am, 52 years old, and the show's still going strong. From Sacramento, we drove to Los Angeles, and instead of being intelligent and taking the shortest, most direct route, we decided we would kind of meander over toward the coastal area and take US 101, which is a much longer drive. Of course, what Dee didn't realize when we made that decision is it gave her much more time to quiz me on my price list for the show. If you ask her today, 33 years later, she'll still complain about how much time she had to spend quizzing me on those prices.
If you're a New Yorker, you might often get the feeling that you're waiting on a perpetual line. But here in LA, this is no ordinary day and no ordinary line. These 300 people are waiting to take part in a TV audience phenomenon.
Well, you show up and you hope that there's not more than 300 people there already. Of course, even if there aren't that many people, you have to hope there's not a bunch of groups who are going to come to the show that day. But you do spend a lot of time waiting on benches, waiting outside the gates until they open them in the morning.
While they wait, a small army is preparing a stage show that couldn't be topped in Vegas.
The CBS pages come through the line. They will create your name tag, and if you have a long name like mine, they might have to make 1 or 2 or 3 of them before they get it all on there.
I just want to know what you're feeling right now.
It's my tie. I feel it right here. Well, you tell Roger Dobkins will tell you we're going to go out there as if it were
Opening day.
That's right. We're going out there as if it were opening day.
Or is it opening night?
Opening day. It's
Opening
a
day,
daytime
I'm
show.
sorry, that's for daytime. That's right.
Yes.
Caress leaves your skin softer than soap. Skin feels better when it's caressed.
Well, I had always liked Holly, who was one of the models on the show ever since I was a kid. She just seemed like the most genuine, the most kind of goofball. And so my sister had this idea. We had a shirt made that said, "I'm here to kiss Holly." And the guy who made it was very helpful. And he was like, "How about we put some felt hearts behind Holly's name?" And he got, the most fancy cursive for her name. And, a lot of times people would get picked who had special shirts made. Then we decided on the back we would put "Sorry, Bob." And he insisted on making a little frowny face out of little scraps of felt. And so that was the shirt I wore to the first taping.
The job of picking contestants goes to co-producer Philip Wayne. He's not above dropping an honest word to a hopeful prospect.
I was stuttering through my interview, and he, seemed unimpressed with me and kind of brushed me off by saying, "And you've got lips for Holly," and he moved on to the next person. But then you go into the Bob Barker studio and you marvel at how small everything is compared to how it looks on TV.
Backstage, you can feel it. The anticipation is at near frenzy.
And they would just jump right into the show, kind of like no warning at all. Just, here we go, we're getting ready, boom.
A new swimming pool.
Being my first taping, I didn't want to be overly boisterous, so I waited for a few other people to yell out bids, and then I yelled out $14.99.
$1,499.
$1,499, and if you look way in the back where Dee is sitting next to me, her head kind of snaps over to me like she's surprised that I got that on the nose, even though she spent the whole time on the road quizzing me on prices.
We had people shouting out the exact price. Of course, nobody knew that person knew the exact price, So we allowed that. We were fine with that.
Strongwood clear enamel finish has 2 storage drawers measures 34 inches by 20 inches. A perfect.
So then on the second item up for bids was a brass trunk, which I knew was, which you can hear on the tape.
$795. Deborah, you win.
And my first 2 bids in the studio were right on.
The 2 things we did not let them do, we didn't allow them to take lists into the studio. In line, when they're waiting to come into the studio, we didn't allow them to say anything in the order of, "Everybody pay attention to me. I memorize all the prices, so everybody listen to me when I shout on a price. We'll all shout." We didn't allow that either.
From about 1984 to 1989, I went to the show about once a year. It was always hard to try to find somebody to go with me, and I realized I don't need anyone to go with me. I can go by myself.
And there is the 6 down there in the piggy bank. Now I'll give you another number. 4 wants the 1. Light up that 1.
Well, first of all, we were very, very absolutely